What do some of the leading third sector, voluntary sector organisations in the UK, organisations like Oxfam, St John's Ambulance and the Joseph Rowntree Foundation have in common? The answer is they're all headed by women, almost disproportionately so. A mirror, if you like, of the situation in the boardroom where men tend to dominate. Cass has been doing some serious work on this in recent months. Lynne Berry is here to talk about it. Lynne, there will be people watching this who say the reason that women dominate in the voluntary sector just as men dominate in the boardroom is because, in truth, when money's involved, the women aren't up to it. Is there any truth in that?
Absolutely, and certainly one of the things that I've had to deal with is one chairman of a big FTSE 100 saying to me, does what it says on the tin, not for profit, not for me. But he's wrong, because one of the things that people who've run big voluntary organisations, whether just nationally or globally, can do is they're brilliant at stakeholder management, they're absolutely brilliant at dealing with the bottom line, at bringing in new sources of finance and at building public trust and confidence. These are things that are actually really important in the corporate sector, the public sector and the voluntary sector.
Yes, that's a point that I was looking to come on to. They are, in the end, the same skills that you need, whether it's the voluntary sector or the boardroom. I
think that they can be run in very similar ways, that the skills are very useful in both worlds, and it's not at all uncommon from people from the corporate sector to be on the boards of voluntary sector organisations, after all. What I think there is that there are 2 or 3 areas that are different, and those are particularly the really aggressive mergers and acquisitions, the whole issue of financial governance in the corporate sector and the corporate governance code, and the issues about some of the specialist roles of non-executive, particularly, for example, the senior independent director. Those are different. But other than that, a lot of it's the same. It's about knowing where you're going, having a vision, getting a strategy, getting the resources you need in order to do that, and then implementing that, monitoring it, and making sure you check the results. There's a great similarity.
This has been a problem for many, many years. How's the CAS programme going to actually change the situation?
Well, the first thing it did is highlighted that in the Davis report, which was an excellent report, came out recently, identifying that there still is a major gap in the corporate sector not taking seriously enough the role of diversity on their boards, and therefore looking to bring in more women. In that Davis report, which identified a whole range of issues around pipeline, it failed to address that actually there's some really tremendous women in the voluntary sector who could play a major role as non-executives. So that's the first one, is actually to say, Davis, you did a great report, but you missed one major part. And then the second bit is to say, in those key areas of corporate finance, of specialist independent roles, and particularly some of the stuff about mergers and acquisitions, these are things that can be taught, these are things people can learn, and these women have had the benefit of some fabulous teaching from some of the faculty here at CAS, and they're able to use that now to decide whether they do want to add to their portfolio some work as an NED in the corporate sector.
Lynne Berry, you've been a senior executive in the third sector and you are a senior visiting fellow at CAS. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.